Welcome back to the channel, Den members. If you recall, a couple weeks ago, we did a video on a project gun, a restoration project, where Steve brought me his grandfather's old 22 long rifle. It was a single shot 22 long rifle that he used to use as trapping. What we didn't talk about at the time was, at the exact same time, I actually came into my own garage find. Recently, a family member was going through a deceased family member's garage and they found this. This is a Marlin 25N rifle. And we'll go into this in a minute while I'm thinking about it. No rounds, it's clear. But I wanted to give a little bit of a story here and make kind of a PSA video, as well as go through just a little showcase of this older gun. Like a lot of people out there, my whole family and extended family isn't necessarily on the same page as protecting our right to keep and bear arms as me. So when this was found, and it was found in a non-operational state, the bolt had been removed and the magazine was missing. They had decided that instead of maybe seeing if it was worth anything or keeping it as, you know, a family heirloom, they were going to surrender it to law enforcement to be destroyed. As a law-abiding citizen who can own guns, that didn't sit well with me. So I asked if maybe, you know, I could have it and see what I could do. Maybe I can get it working and, you know, just add it to my collection, or maybe I'll sell it down the road. Thankfully, they said yes. If you have a gun, or if you know a person that has a gun that is in a non-functional state, don't let that person just automatically assume it can't be fixed or that it's not worth fixing. Don't let them surrender that gun to law enforcement unless it is illegally owned. Don't let them get rid of it. It can be used at the bare minimum. Take it to a gun store, take it to a sporting goods store that buys used guns and see if you can get a couple $100 or $100 for it. Regardless of the situation, don't just let a person, and don't, if it's you that we're talking about, don't just assume a firearm isn't worth saving. It could even be used for spare parts for another gun. Case in point, I was able to rescue this trigger assembly from an M1 Garand. This was going to be scrapped. I could use this someday. A person that has an M1 that has a catastrophic failure in their trigger could use this someday. That's enough of that rant. Please just don't let your friends or people you know just get rid of guns they legally own.
Okay, it's ready. Okay. I was going to say, when you're ready to go, I don't know if you're ready to go or not. Just the bottom line.
So I am now the proud owner of an older Marlin 25N. Now, if anyone is familiar with the Marlin brand, you'll know that the Marlin name has changed hands a little bit in the last 20-30 years. This is an original Marlin, not Marlin under the parent company of Remington, who drove the company into the ground. And it's not a newer Marlin that's owned by Ruger, which Ruger is doing some good things, it sounds like, with the Marlin name and bringing back kind of their glory. Now, I ran the serial number on this particular Marlin, and I discovered that this gun was manufactured in 1994. Now, the Marlin 25N was produced starting in 1989. So that puts this one about mid-production of the 25N. From the research I did, this is kind of an underrated 22. As I said, it has an external magazine. It uses a proprietary 7-round magazine. The magazines are a little bit difficult to get a hold of. I did luck out and find this one on eBay. I can't remember, it was $10 or $15, but it is a genuine Marlin magazine. I like a gun that's chambered in 22 long rifle. They're easy to shoot, they're easy to handle, they're fun to plink with, they are a great tool to teach kids how to start shooting and teach gun safety, which we need to bring that back in our culture. If we truly want to protect the Second Amendment for future generations, we need to cultivate this air, this atmosphere amongst the youth that guns aren't dangerous. People can be dangerous, but the gun itself is not a bad thing. I really do see 22s as a great introduction to the gun world, especially for youth that are interested in guns. So let's do a brief rundown of the Marlin 25N. As I said, it is a bolt action 22 long rifle. It's a very simple bolt action gun. Like so many other bolt actions, you just remove the bolt by putting the safety into fire, having the bolt back, pulling the trigger, and it comes out. There really aren't that many features on this rifle. Again, it's a very basic bolt action rifle. It's a 22-inch barrel, has very simple iron sights. However, it does have a mounting location for a scope. I would like to have some sort of scope on here so I don't just have to use the irons. It would make this a little more interesting and a little more effective, especially at longer ranges. When I go to the range, it would be more effective on, say, the 100-yard range. The safety is just a simple toggle. Back is safe, forward is fire. As I said, it uses a proprietary 7-round magazine. It just snaps in. The release is just behind the magazine, so you would just depress that and the magazine just slides right out. The trigger isn't actually that bad. I've seen some people comment on forums that they're really heavy, and you can adjust down to a 1.5 pound pull, but honestly, I kind of like the trigger on this. I mean, it's no Brown Bess musket stiff or deliberate, but I'm gonna say that's a 7-8 pound pull. It's a deliberate pull, but it's smooth, and you don't really have to fight through it. It's a smooth trigger, but there is definitely some resistance there. And that brings us to the stock. It is a wooden stock. Nice polished finish on it. All around, this is just a really pretty basic 22 long rifle gun. When I first brought it home and got it working by putting the bolt in, I thought I might just resell this, but like I said, I kind of have a problem selling off guns, and because of just the great utility of this, if I ever do any small game hunting, this would be perfect if I put a nice little scope on here. Even the irons, it was shooting very accurately at 50 yards for, you know, a 22. I think this is just a really underrated gun. Obviously, the Ruger 1022 is kind of the king of the 22 long rifle market, but if you can get a hold of one of these, I definitely would encourage it. Finding these kind of quote-unquote barn finds, it's kind of fun doing the restoration projects like I did on my M92 pistol, and then Steve's gun, and you know, my Corvette is a massive restoration project. We got a video coming in the next month or so. Oh, and we've got another firearm related object that we're going to be doing kind of a mini restoration on. Drop a comment down below if you've had any situations where you've rescued a gun, or you've kind of come across something that isn't, you know, your run-of-the-mill gun, and you were able to get it for a pretty low price or free because somebody was just gonna throw it away or have it be destroyed. Not literally thrown away. I hope people aren't just throwing away their guns. That's going to do it for this video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Hit that bell icon to get notifications on future content. As always, don't take life too seriously and make it a great day.